The year 2020 opened educators and entrepreneurs to a whole new world of doing things differently, whether as an alternative or complementary to the original, resulting to a massive growth in the statistics of the e-learning industry 2020.
We've always been interested in how our content measures up with children outside of the world, outside of the country, in other parts of the world. So we look at a situation whereby we could look at what is required of a child using the prescribed curriculum by the government, and also look at what is necessary for a child to know to navigate their own world.
E-learning makes education accessible to all categories of students, whether he or she is an international student, a local student, or student in a rural area, and also the children that I teach, those in kindergarten. E-learning makes education accessible to them too.
We have looked into incorporating the best parts of curriculums all over the world and merging it to ours to make it our own. The coronavirus struck, and that necessitated some moves that made us look into a way we could reach our children and still offer them a robust learning experience while they were in their homes. And when that happened, it kind of educated us as to the needs of a child. We found out that our kids responded more to the visual learning that's presented on the forum. When a topic is introduced, it's not just what the teacher knows that they pass along, but when you put it in the format of a portal, then the world opens up to the child. If the teacher needs to present a lesson, they need to be sure that it encompasses all that the child should know about that lesson. And in doing so, they utilize videos, games, quizzes, and different learning methods. So when the children saw this, they understood that there was multiple exposures to one concept. So if a child didn't quite understand what the teacher said, they could play a game. If they didn't understand the game, they could do a quiz. If they didn't understand the quiz, they could go back and replay what the teacher had said. So we just found out that it was a treasure trove of knowledge that we can tap into and really make our learning robust.
Whatever the accomplishments that have been associated with these phenomenal educational giants, UPSS, CANP and CAM were all conceived and birthed here in CAM, like an engine room from where all the other parts are fitly supplied.
Worldwide, schools are making their kids to go through the electronic routes. But in Nigeria, that is something we are lacking. And this is why our school has put it upon itself to make sure that our kids learn how to write programs, create various codes, and build robots that can compete with other schools around the world. And even in my ICT class, as an ICT teacher, I teach these kids how to write codes and scripts that are used for creating robots, and they're able to code on their own. And this was made possible because of the advanced e-learning system that we have in our school.
We found that children who might have had some learning difficulties with certain subjects like mathematics or the other, they are doing better. They have been able to take control of the subject because as it is, it's like the child having a personal teacher at home that they are in control of. So if my teacher says this and I don't understand, I still have access to that teacher because I can go back and replay the video that he prepared. And there are other features of the portal that still allow the child to also utilize the access to the teacher. For example, as they are learning, there's a portion underneath their content that asks them to put in questions or comments. And when you see that, you find that children, even in primary 1, are asking sensible questions. They are responding sensibly. When the teacher puts a response there, they have a feedback to give to the teacher. So it's very encouraging to the teacher and also the pupils. We also have the opportunity for the children to express themselves, because in a classroom of, let's say, 20 students, you have a situation whereby time is limited. So the teacher can attend to the children, but that individualized attention where everybody is given an opportunity to speak, we cannot quite cater for it because of the time frame. But when the teacher gives an assignment and tells the children to give a video response to a topic, the child is able to hone their confidence because it's just them. It's just them and the teacher. So the teacher asks a question and the child responds. If they don't like their first response, they can try again. What we're seeing with that is that little kids are so confident. They can come to you and speak about a topic because it's something they've practiced over and over again.
These dynamic schools have been very instrumental to the development of education and of the society through their scholarly work, leaving indelible prints in the annals of education.
We wanted to provide quick delivery of lessons. The children can learn at their own comfort, in a conducive environment. They can study. And apart from that, we looked at everybody's needs. Even if the child is a slow learner, the child can take the lessons at any time.
The passive learners are quite difficult to teach by the physical class method. But with the online learning, the e-learning method, they are of great advantage because they learn subconsciously, because we inculcate different things such as fun games, sparkling images that draws their attention, that draws their curiosity, and fun images and pictures while enjoying what they are watching. At the same time, they are getting to learn those things we want them to learn.
The benefits of e-learning are numerous. Our kids are now more responsible because now they know that they have courses online that they need to attend to. They know they have to set a schedule, so it gives them less time to play and more time to be studious and to focus on their work online.
This school uses intellectual virtues from the nature of subject matter to planning the curriculum and to the content of curriculum.
We didn't want to lose out on what we had already found. Like I said, it was a treasure trove of information and knowledge. So we looked at a situation where we can blend in-class learning with online. At first it was difficult because parents looked at it as a lot of work. But we were encouraged by the students or the pupils' responses. Because when a child has access to a teacher's information in the comfort of their homes, where it says that you give them an assignment and ask them to prepare ahead of time, they come into the classroom with a knowledge of the subject. So when the teacher is teaching in class, it's like revision to them. It becomes easier for them. And you see situations whereby children volunteer information that might not even be contained in the lesson, but because they have the opportunity to use the World Wide Web, the information is there and they present it to class. So they are learning, the teacher himself is learning, and other students are learning as well.
Not everyone is open-minded when it comes to electronics, but yeah, we're being taught, we're being trained as to how to teach the students effectively. And you now see that as time goes on, the student learns so well, because when you see a student that probably might not be active in class, maybe the student is shy to ask questions, you see them going back to the online work, the online lessons, the videos, to watch, to relearn. It's really helping the students when it comes to the way they learn and the way they assimilate a lot of things. It's really helping them.
The school have adapted to the technology-based learning because of the effectiveness of the system in brain retention, and have fully integrated the e-learning system of education through a very comprehensive school portal for active exchange of skills and knowledge through various techniques like gamification, which increases engagement and motivation.
Kids love to play, so now we have introduced a system whereby we teach them using gaming activities. So our kids are learning, also having fun at the same time.
From radius to circumference, there is a very high level of interactivity with the students and pupils through the computer and internet-based e-learning, which has made them active learners, facilitating the development of skill sets.
When a child is in control of their learning, then they are able to access information that interests them. One of the flaws of our system is that it encourages everybody to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or any of the major professions. But the job market we are seeing today is saturated with those fields. You can be an entrepreneur or have something to contribute to the system that is not mainstream. And the only way you can do that is by honing your interests. If a child is in charge of their learning, they can navigate things that interest them. So what we're working on is an algorithm that supports interests. Just like on YouTube, for example, if you go online, you click on a video, what happens? YouTube keeps on showing you videos that are of that same line. So if you have an interest in making cake, for example, whenever you look at your YouTube timeline, you will see videos of making cake. We're looking at a situation whereby we can apply that same algorithm in learning, whereby if a child has an interest in something, they can constantly have access to that thing and become better at it. Even go to a level where it might not be considered their level, but because they've been on that line for a while, they can go from beginner to intermediate to advanced based on their learning abilities. So that's what we're looking to do in the near future.
What we do is that we upload our content on the portal, and we even do video presentation of our lesson, just the same way we'll do it in class. So we'll do a recording of the lesson, and then we'll upload the content on the portal. And then we'll also give the children quizzes and assignments, and it's also marked and graded accordingly.
The management of the school continues to explore the different types of e-learning, like the computer-managed learning, CML, computer-assisted instruction, CAI, collaborative/interactive online learning, and so on, in order to effectively communicate personalized content to a target audience at their comfort and speed.
the kindergarten children, they are able to navigate their computers. They are able to do that. How did they do this? What we do when we type questions, we also use audio. These audio questions, what the children do is just to touch. When they touch their phone, they listen to the voice. They don't have to read it to them because they can't read. They are little children, some are less than 3 years, some are 3 years plus, so they can't read. So what we do, we use audio. Use audio to put the questions there, then for them to click. After they have watched the video, being assisted by their parents, then they click on their own, they can click on the buttons and listen to the question. And thereby, they know what you want them to do after they have watched the video.
Today, learners want relevant, self-paced and personalized content at their own comfort, and that's what e-learning, as a system based on formalized teaching through the use of electronic resources and internet, is all about. Though this learning system was once relegated, as it was assumed to lack the human element required in learning.
You see kids that you don't even imagine they can do things, like they are doing it themselves and they enjoy the electronic learning. You find out that they are excited to do even more than what you've asked them to do.
Across the schools, UPSS, CANP and CAM, switching to the e-learning system has been very seamless, owing to the remarkable changes and innovations in our content delivery and active exchange.
When I want to teach a particular topic, probably the pre-writing stage or the brainstorming part, you know, this is something you need to physically tell them. You need to physically teach them, but breaking it step by step in the content, with of course with graphics and pictures, we make the students learn. It will make them imagine, because you're talking about brainstorming. Brainstorming is all about thinking. It's all about thinking out of the box. But when you fix in images and pictures, graphics that will make the students want to, you know, think more, you find out that you're even doing less work. You're doing less work because the students are understanding you. And before you know what's happening, if you're going to be given an assignment, they understand what you've taught and they will go exceedingly beyond what you've given them or what you've expected them to do.
Of the pandemic, it's met a lot of schools halfway, but Children's Academy Nursery and Primary already had an existing portal which distinguished us from them. Indeed, Children's Academy Nursery and Primary has taken music to a good level, and we've been able to use e-learning to bring teaching to their doorstep. I give my children music and they come back giving me, especially in their practical field. You see kids playing the saxophone, you see them playing the tin whistle, you see them singing, you see them dancing, and moreover answering questions.
As it is good for them now, it's going to help them much more in the future. And in as much as we know that the world is already a global village, they need to fit into the present situation. And it's our duty as teachers to make that a reality. And that is what we're actually doing here in UPSS, CANP and CAM.
Your child has a head start on life as compared to children who do not get the exposure that Children's Academy gives them. Your child can go to anywhere in the world and compete favorably. So it's something that we are very proud of. The parents that have bought into it are testifying to that they're very proud of it. And it's something that we are going to continue.
Parents bringing their kids to Children's Academy, they are making the right decision. Because in Children's Academy, we create a platform that the children can always use, if not today, but in the future. So it's an opportunity for us to expose our children and for them to look up to the future in the aspect of technology.
We're looking to have more offerings on the online portal, such that classes that are not even offered here can be offered online. Like we're looking at languages, for example, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, Italian, and all those languages. A child who graduates with an understanding of a language aside from theirs has more doors open to them than those who graduate without such understanding.
Most schools couldn't operate during the lockdown, but all through the days, the weeks, and the months, we were all online. We took our exams online, we got our results online, and which made a lot of children to assign by registering online with Children's Academy Nursery and Primary. And I tell you, when we came back to school, we had lots of online children who became our physical children today. So that's a plus to us.
So it is very important for parents to embrace e-learning for a number of reasons. Now consider the challenges that we have been facing in the country since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, which made it necessary for children to be at home. For many months, they were not in their classroom learning. But with the use of electronic learning or e-learning, parents have embraced it. Their children did not really lack during that period because they were still learning while they were at home. So UPSS CAMP and CAM has what it takes, to give your children the best education as far as e-learning is concerned.
This is 2020 and we're complaining about the job market. Think of what it's going to be in the next 10 years. Parents need to prepare for that future. Parents need to cater for their future by preparing their children for that future. If you are doing the same old thing, if your child's school is offering you the same old thing that didn't work in 2020, it's not going to work in 2030. So you need to prepare for the future, and Children's Academy is a school that helps a child to prepare for the future. Children's Academy is a school that equips a child with everything a child needs to know on a world-class level, not just Benin City, not just Nigeria, but on a world-class level. What a child needs to know at 5 years old, he knows. What a child needs to know at 10 years old when he's graduating from Children's Academy, he knows.
One good thing about e-learning is that it trains our kids to fit into the constantly evolving economic workforce, which is now technologically driven.
So the benefits of the online system are numerous, and we intend to use it to the best of our ability. It's not going away because that's the world we live in today. There's no facet of life that you can navigate without the knowledge of computers. What we have now is that our children are learning at par with people from other developed countries. There's no way in the world they will go to that they won't be able to cope, because at a very tender age, they've already been trained on how to use ICT to navigate their world.
The beautiful thing here is that we are in sync with modern learners. This enables updated content. Compared to the traditional method of teaching in a classroom with whiteboard and markers, e-learning eliminates unnecessary conversation and significantly reduces the time required to learn. It's a work in progress, and yes, we are up to the task.